125 innovation synonyms you should be using in your business right now. G'day, I'm Nils Vesk. Synonyms? What the heck? Yes, being able to find other words to describe innovation can help to grow your business. And you need to know these synonyms if you've got people pushing back against innovating, people who don't understand how innovation can apply to them or their work or role, or maybe they're scared of losing their job by making mistakes, or they simply don't know what innovation means. Now here's why. There's still a lot of people who don't really know what innovation actually means. And if you watch a few TV ads, you'll probably see nearly any tech product company use the word innovation, as will a car company, a pharmaceutical, and pretty much any other company where the marketer has said, let's use the word innovation. But what does innovation actually mean? And you know what? The honest answer is not found in the dictionary. The answer is found in the innovative things that you've already done over the years and continue to do in the future to improve something. For some people, innovation is about creating an entirely new industry-breaking ideas. For others, it's an Excel macro formula workaround that saves someone's hours of time each week. Others would argue it's about adopting a cutting-edge trend. Or maybe it's about discovering a fresh customer insight. Or maybe we've got to validate and prototype an idea before building it and going to market with it. Now the truth is, they're all correct. And that's why having innovation synonyms is so important, because it means you can have everyone on exactly the same page to understand you and what you're trying to do. Now, innovation can be found in 4 critical areas. The first one is around generating insights, where we might look at emerging trends, customer frustrations, needs, desires, or a bottleneck that gives us an opportunity to innovate on. 2, it's around generating ideas that satisfy those needs or desires or improve something. 3, it's about validating and prototyping to work out whether someone actually wants to pay for your solution and that you can solve the problem that exists. And 4, it's about executing and developing an idea so that you can build it on time, on budget, as well as market it, pitch it, and sell it in order to improve results, whether that's a financial or a cultural result. Okay, so now that we've got what innovation can mean, it's time to discuss how you can actually do it. Because believe it or not everyone likes innovation. In fact, some people will do everything or anything they can to do to avoid innovation. And the reason is simple, because of risk. Now there's some great research out there by Dr. Heidi Grant who's shown that 90% of the population when at work have what's called a prevention-focused motivation. That means that they're motivated by not making mistakes. Now traditional old school innovation, that is developing new products or service ideas before validating that people actually want to pay for them, is very risky. And if you've ever heard of people getting burnt in innovation before, that's old school. Now, new school innovation, which is the type of innovation we use and teach with our Fortune 500 clients, eliminates the risk by doing the validation upfront so that we don't waste any time or money in the effort of doing it. Now, the reality is most people don't know that innovation can be risk-free with these little-known industry-proven techniques. And that's why most people still think innovation is too risky. And so they'll do everything they can, consciously and unconsciously, to kind of kill any idea of innovation. And that's why we need to know other words so that other people can understand what we're doing without freaking them out by calling it innovation. So let me give you a commercial example of this. I want to share you, a story about a company that I worked with. So they're a Fortune 500 company, I'm not going to tell you which one, but they desperately needed innovation to help them stay current and to reclaim their position as number one. The processes that they'd been using hadn't changed in 20 years and they needed to innovate specifically around process and customer experience to get that number one spot. The challenge: the CEO was absolutely against the concept of innovation. The CEO thought that innovation was too risky, not for their company. So what we needed to do was create a better word or a synonym for innovation. So the solution was, I called it a process improvement program instead, despite it being innovation through and through. Now the CEO was happy with the process improvement program title and gave it the green light. We ran a 3-day process improvement, you could kind of call it an innovation sprint, and we ensured that we validated every one of the processes that we were innovating on so there was no risk at all. Now, the result was good. The program created over 20 new process innovations that improved the customer service, cost savings, profits, and helped them to reclaim and keep their top market position. So if you're interested, here are the top 125 synonyms that you need to learn that will help your business grow without costing your job, innovation program, or anything else along that line. And we're going to start off with some innovation program synonyms, because if you're going to say we want to do innovation across our organization, you might need to call it something else. So you could call it an agility improvement program. You could call it a sprint, a hackathon, an idea storm. Maybe it's a little brainstorming session, an invention program, a startup program, or even a Kaizen initiative. If you're not sure about that term, it's a Japanese word for continual improvement. Okay, so we've spoken about what might be an innovation program synonym, but what about product innovation? Well, we could call it product modernization, product modification or improvement, a product variation. We could call it product adaptation. We could call it enhancement, regeneration, or product advancement, a renovation, a reinvention, an overhaul, rejuvenation, invention, a product fix, or a product desirability review. So you kind of get the gist here. Again, these words will work a lot for a lot of different people where they don't want to hear the word innovation, but they want to hear about ways they can fix something safely at minimal risk. Okay, we've spoken about product, but the big area we can also innovate is around process. So process innovation synonyms. We've got process modernization, modification, process improvement, process variation, adaptation, process enhancement, process regeneration. We could call it process advancement, a reinvention, a renovation, an overhaul, a process rejuvenation, a process fix, a process invention, a process effectiveness review, a sustainability review, a sustainability improvement, or maybe an IP, that is intellectual property improvement. Again, simple ways that we can call our innovation something else so we're not threatening people but enabling people to understand in the language that they might be used to. Now, let's go to the customer service or the service experience of innovation. So we have customer service modernization or service modification, customer service improvement, service enhancement. We've got customer service regeneration. We've got service advancement. We've got reinvention, customer service overhaul, customer service rejuvenation, customer service fix. We've got customer service review. So you're probably hearing that we've heard some of these words before, yes, but when we put the specific label of where we want to innovate in front of it, it starts to make it a new concept. And we can use these as prompts to help us to prompt areas where we should be innovating. So let's think now not so much about customer or service, but more so about user experience, or as we like to call in the biz, UX or CX, user experience, customer experience. So we've got things like customer journey mapping, CX mapping, user experience mapping, CX or UX improvement, process variation, process adaptation, CX, UX enhancement, regeneration, advancement, pain point mapping, a CX or a UX overhaul, or a usability review. Okay, so there's some core areas. Now what we can do is start to think about, when it comes to innovation, those 4 areas of insights, ideas, validation, and commercialization, there are some synonyms that we can use for specific areas. So we could call it, again, insights, innovation synonyms. We could call it trend forecasting or future proofing, trend adaptation, trend capitalization, trend spotting, trend analysis, bottleneck identification, pinch point mapping, inefficiency identification, ineffectiveness ID, a SWOT analysis. We could call it future world scenario planning. We could simply call it insight improvement or insight generation, customer intelligence review, competitor intelligence review, or a business intelligence review. All of these can help you to communicate innovation based around insights. Okay, let's move on to the wonderful world of ideas. Ideation, idea generation, innovation synonyms. We could call this problem solving, mistake prevention, that's a good one, idea generation, a solution session, solution improvement, idea modernization, idea modification, an improvement or variation, idea adaptation, enhancement, regeneration, an advancement, or an idea overhaul. Okay, let's now go to testing and validating. This is an important, critical part that's often missed out because people don't understand it. They think they've got to build $1 million or a prototype that takes you 2 years to build. But it doesn't need to be that way. We could call it process validation, product validation, market validation, insight validation, minimal risk prototyping, zero risk validation, zero risk trialing, zero risk experimentation, a zero risk pilot program, or a pilot program reinvention. That's a mouthful. Okay, lucky last, we're on to the commercialization, execution synonyms around innovation. So we've got a marketing reinvention, value proposition review, a pitch creation, profit projection, ROI analysis. We could call it a viability evaluation, building a business model canvas, automation, logistics modernization or a logistics improvement, process variation, technology adaptation, a tech enhancement, logistics reinvention or an overhaul, operational fix, quality improvement, constructability improvement, affordability review, or a differentiation analysis. So that's 125 of some very powerful synonyms that you can have up your sleeve. And what it means with these synonyms is you can help to change the mind of someone who's been pushing back against innovation by simply calling it another thing. And it can also help someone understand how innovation can apply specifically to their work, their role, or their position. And most importantly, it can help them to, get over their aversion to risk or the fear of losing their job by making mistakes, which inherently a lot of people think that innovation will end up creating for them. It also helps them understand what innovation actually means. So I hope you learn more than just a few of these innovation synonyms and get to use them to help create your innovation business success. Thanks so much for tuning again. If you liked it, please subscribe or tune in and find out, if you want to find out a little bit more about some of our proven minimal risk business innovation techniques and courses, you can always contact us at ideaswithlegs.com. We'll see you around next time. Bye.